That's loud. Okay, so it's recording. Yeah, I'm smiling because I was just watching Belief in Fatherhood and it was humorous. I don't know. Those little kids, they are so funny to me. Theo, he's the Aquarius, he the oldest. Uriah, he's a Cancer, middle child. Anaya, Gemini, middle child. And then Uzi, Cancer, youngest. Now, Uzi is like a whole different breed. Like, he just naturally funny. He must have like maybe even Capricorn in his chart or Leo or I don't know. He funny as hell. He don't even be trying, but no. When it comes to Uzi, I feel like he know he funny and he just a toddler, but he know that he's like a comedian. Like he know he doing certain things to make people laugh. So that's interesting. The Aquarius Theo, which is the oldest, he is such a Aquarius. Like he like a true Aquarius. Um, a lot of times now that he older, he kind of like stay in the background. He was super funny as a toddler too, though. But anyways, this ain't even about this. This is about Marilyn Monroe. All right. Marilyn Monroe. Okay, so I had watched Blondie. People feeling a type of way about it. I don't like, I mean, it's kind of like I understood the art of it. Like I understood the direction. It was more like psychological and whatnot. But I felt like people wanted it to be more fantasy. I felt like it was more realistic than films in the past. I didn't feel like it was realistic as in I don't feel like it captured who Marilyn Monroe really was. They kind of kept her in that dumb blonde persona through the whole movie. Even when she wasn't like on set, when it's supposed to be moments behind the scenes, she was still playing like the dumb blonde character, and I don't feel like that's accurate at all. Cause when I'm watching a biopic, I research things to see what was accurate and what wasn't. So now, like when I go on YouTube, I get a lot of recommendations of videos of Marilyn Monroe. So from the few that I've seen, Marilyn Monroe was introverted. Um, and everything that I've seen her in, people call her extremely insecure. Um, yeah, a lot of people call her really sensitive. They call her insecure and very she got her feelings hurt easily. She was very like gentle or something like that, um which made sense. It made sense to me because, she was raised in trauma. And when you raise in trauma, it can form a sensitivity. But to be real, I felt like Marilyn Monroe was extremely misunderstood. And when I was watching like her speak, even when she was acting, I could see a lot of myself in her. You know, that's how I recognized that she was like introverted. She was a deep thinker, but I could tell that she couldn't see her own light. And it's because people wanted control of that light. So I felt like a lot of men that came into her life, um, they made her feel insecure. I believe that they said things to her to make her feel insecure because they didn't want her to be confident because they would lose control. But I feel like it was something that was, she was confident about certain things about herself because, you know, in all these stories, she would leave the relationship for her own betterment. Like she was in a relationship with her first husband, and the reason why she married him so that she didn't have to go back to the orphanage, which was interesting. But you know, when the time came when she had to leave, she chose her, I don't really feel like acting or being famous was her passion. I felt like she was always going to be pushing that direction. Always. Like since birth. I felt like they always had a plan to push her in that direction. And I feel like it was Hollywood who put her through the orphanage because I thought it was really interesting that it seemed as if they would give Marilyn Monroe roles that um reminded her of her traumas. Like at one point, she was playing a character that resembled her mother. The last film that she did, she was playing the character of a mother of children that would have been, if she would have had her kids, if she didn't lose her kids, they would have been that age. They would have been the age of the studio kids. And I felt like that was very purposeful, you know. I feel like them creating celebrities like from birth was fairly, it wasn't new, like they did it before, but they were still figuring out the best way to go about it at that time. So, you know, they created this child, they put her through the trauma, and then what they was hoping to get out of it was like this Oscar performance, because we all know that pain creates the best art. So I feel like that's the reason why they wanted to re-traumatize her when it came to her acting career, because they wanted to capture that pain. They wanted to capture that. Um, but you know, she ended up crashing and burning pretty early, which I felt like they felt like she was worth more dead than alive. So I don't even think that it was her who kept crash and burn. But you know, let's get to know Marilyn. I did realize that, see, I don't feel like if you was to, I don't think that she would have had, nah, if you would have explained what an introvert was to Marilyn Monroe, she would have resonated with it. But, you know, people really recently starting to understand the way that an introvert operates, because we live in a world that is dominated by extroverts, and extroverts don't feel the need to understand introverts unless they in love with one. And sometimes even then, they would choose to look at an introvert like it's an issue, it's a problem. You need to come out of your shell. And I felt like that was the misunderstanding. Like people looked at her as sensitive and insecure when she was just very introspective and she was to herself, you know. So I feel like the picture that they painted of Marilyn, people just don't have a accurate perception because they don't understand how she operated. And I feel like that made her feel very lonely, and she was in the industry. So that must have been like horrible. Absolutely horrible. Um and she, you know, she didn't have no family, and you know, that's just like a trauma. Like if you don't grow up with the love and support of like family and stuff like that, that's a trauma that is very hard to get over. Um you know, it's just something that's hard to just, man or woman, it's really hard to get over not having support, not having people in your corner, or not even having family, not having roots. Because you know, you could go through life and you could meet friends and stuff like that, and they could become family, but you, there's something about, that's your mother, that's your father, that's your cousin, that's your sibling, that creates a type of connection that, you know, even if y'all have a disagreement, this person still at the end of the day going to be your family. So it creates a contract between you and these people, because people already have a mentality about what family is. And even if you don't like your family member, a lot of times we are trained to still protect that family member, to still be there for that family member, even if you don't know them, even if you don't understand them. You know, if a stranger come knock on your door, and let's say that you have your grandmother in the house and you gonna answer the door and you don't know who the fuck this is, you ain't never seen this person before, but your grandma be like, oh, that's your cousin. Let him in, let him in. That person gonna instantly go from a stranger to a family member, and they're gonna be able to get into doors that if nobody knew who they was, they wouldn't be able to get in that door. They would just been a stranger knocking on your door. Now you won't let this person in your house because your grandma said that's your cousin, but they still a stranger to you. But guess what? You still gonna treat them like family. They say that they need a place to stay for a night. You, you know, according to the laws of what family is, it is proper if you give them somewhere to stay, if you feed them, if you kind to them. So mm, let's get into what type of person Marilyn was. Let's start out with that. And that's too many cards. Too many cards. What type of person was Marilyn? Mm. Okay, so some of the cards that I dropped out and I put it back in reshuffle because I was like, that's too many cards. Some of them came out again, which was the visionary and the storyteller. But they did come out reverse. I also got the child orphan card and the child eternal card, which came out reversed. It's the first card that came out. Inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. Okay. So, maybe even that aspect was correct when it came to Blondie, is that, similar to like Michael Jackson, Marilyn Monroe had like a childlike personality because I feel like her growth was stunted, and I feel like it was accurate, the fact that she was in a lot of codependent relationships just because she felt like she had to create her own family. Um, but I'm also getting a sense that she pushed people away. So she would like do this push and pull thing. Like, she would pull you in closer and then she would push you away. People with like abandonment issues, like they would do that because they already fearful that you are going to abandon them eventually. So before they allow themselves to get too close, they would end or terminate the relationship first because they feel like that would be less painful for them, because you abandoning them would deepen their insecurities about themselves and the fact that they feel like unlovable or unwanted. So I feel as if she did that. But what I'm also getting from this card is the fact that she did act in a childlike manner um with men, especially inability to grow up and be responsible. Yeah. And she was seemingly irresponsible sometimes. I want to say like whimsical. um and I also get the feeling that there was times that she wanted to be treated as a child. Like mm, like she wanted to be treated as if she needed to be taken care of, and she felt like if she acted that way that it would make people care for her. Mm. Because I felt like there was times she acted like a child because she did not want people to know how much she was aware of things, because she felt like that would make them abandon her. Okay, so the next card I got is victim. Came out reverse. Playing the victim for positive feedback. Yeah, that's kind of feeding into what I was just saying. In the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Yeah, the energy I'm getting from this is the same that I was getting for the card before. That she would act like a child. But this was part of the trauma. So even though she wasn't dumb, she wasn't a dumb blonde, she would act like it. But not like a dumb blonde per se, but like a child. Innocent, naive. Very unsure of herself. But it would be like it's an act that she is doing, like, because if you was to be able to explore her mind, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of awareness. And I believe that she was also aware of other people's traumas. She was also aware of other people insecurities. Like, um, they did play some poetry in the movie, and I believe that she wrote poetry at times. And that makes sense because poetry come from like a certain vibration. It's like you speaking direct, but in an indirect way. You speaking in metaphors. It combines an energy of like creativity and pain and hmm, like I feel like when you speak about things in a metaphoric way, like you would do in a poem, um, it's almost like you are speaking on a subject from a broader perspective. Like you tying in one element to a lot of other things. You get what I'm saying? Like, uh, I have to come back to that because I can't find the words to describe that because like it's a vibrational thing because there's times that I'm not aware that I'm speaking poetic and but then I go back and read what I wrote and it came out very poetic. But I remember and I recall the energy that I was in. And a lot of times when that happened, when I'm speaking poetic and I'm not even trying, I'm in a very deep space, and I have just came out of a very deep journey of introspection for me to even write that. And it's coming from not my mind. It's not coming from my mental. I'm barely even thinking about what I'm saying. I'm just expressing, you know. So yeah. Um, so I did get I think it was this one that's beggar. Came out reverse. Dependency on others to the exclusion of effort. Yeah. So, Marilyn Monroe did have this childlike personality. Um, but she did it to get people to care for her in that way. But what ended up happening is that people would abuse it. Um, Men would not understand that she is just acting like a child. They will view her and they would have like fetishes around it, and they would treat her like she was naive and stupid. But they will also have a sense of enjoyment out of it because they would have like a sense of control over her. Like, what I'm getting is that, her personality uh was a real magnet to men who had fetishes, men who had dark desires, men that was controlling, men that have seen women like property. She was a magnet to that because they almost felt like they could have like this living blow up doll, and she don't think on her own. They like the fact because there's some men who like the fact that they could teach you something. So she would act very naive, and then she would be like in a sense of wonder when a man was to come along and teach her something. Now, this could be something that she already knew. Like, I'm pretty sure she knew a lot growing up in an orphanage. Okay. So, but she would act like that. She would act like she was just in awe and wonder, so appreciative, um, childlike. And she would attract predators because of that. Independence based on learning to go in alone, conquering fear of surviving. See, this came out upright. And that makes sense because even though she acted like a child, she was street smart. Um, she knew how to navigate around danger. And I feel like at times she even purposely attracted these predatory men. Um, but that's because of her own pain. But she felt like almost like that's what she used to, and that's what she deserved. But she was a survivor. Like, she was a survivor. That's why she didn't stay in situations for too long. Like, if it got too out of hand, it got too abusive, she would up and leave. And then she would leave these men and like disillusion when she leave. Because this whole time they thinking that they have like this woman child, and they treating her like she naive. So much so that they will start to get a little bit too comfortable in front of her. You know, they might have secrets and everything like that, but they might have a conversation in front of her thinking that, even though like she won't understand what I'm saying, she won't understand what I'm talking about to this man right here, because we talking business and we talking politics and we talking this. She too naive to understand what we talking about. So Marilyn will be around situations that people think that she not paying attention, people think that she not listening, but she is. And she do understand. And not only is she understanding, but she collecting that information for her own benefit. She was indeed a survivor. And I think that's why she didn't mind being around predators too much, because she knew how to get them to let their guard down. Making up tales that harm others, storyteller. So this is kind of like my liar card. You know, when I get this card in reverse, it let me know that this person is yeah, I feel like she did tell a lot of lies, but it was to like protect herself. Um I kind of want to say white lies, but it wasn't, because white lies is like, you know, you tell like a lie that's not gonna make much of a difference and stuff. Nah, she will lie about important things. I also get from this card that she would tell unnecessary lies. It would seemingly look like that. Like, like let's say that you meet her for the first time and she tell you a story about her childhood and it's completely fabricated. And then later on you learn that what she told you wasn't none of the truth. You know, she created this story to tell you, but she have her own reasons. She had her own reasons for doing that. Selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. I also feel like Maryland was a bit of an industry plant, as in, you know, sometimes they will use these celebrities to get important information. They will use these celebrities because I see her reporting back to somebody. Like she in a room that looked like one of those detective rooms, those rooms that they interrogate you. And she reporting what she know about somebody that she was dealing with. Excuse me. All right, let's get into that. All right, tell me more about that aspect. Tell me more about the aspect of her reporting back to somebody. During that time, she was extremely desirable to industry men. Um, and they would set up dates with her through the whatever corporation she worked for, like the studio or whatever. They would set up dates with her. Like men that have the money, they would pay for her. I feel like she was groomed since a child. And I also feel like every person that you've seen her be married to, they had a connection with that industry. Even her first husband, the one that they said that she married him to not go to the orphanage. Even when it comes to him, that was set up. So these men that she married, they was like her handler. Um, and they even show that in the movie Blondie. You know, I'm starting to have even more respect for this film because I'm feeling like this might have been one of the most truthful films about her. Because I thought it was interesting how she was married to that one dude. And she kept telling him, like, I don't want to go back to the industry. And the reason why she don't want to go back is because, you know, she tired of being prostituted out. She tired of being mistreated. And the amount of pain and trauma, like, it's triggering just to be in that environment for her. Um, and even though this man didn't want people to look at her, he supposedly wanted her to do less sexy type films and stuff like that. And, you know, he felt a way about it. But yet, none of these men, even when she got with that one producer, now seemingly this producer had pull, he had power, the one with the glasses, but none of them could stop the company that she worked for. Like at the end of the day, they had to deliver Marilyn to that studio so she could work for them. None of them was able to get her out of the contract of the studio. At the end of the day, whoever she was married with, they knew that they had to comply with that studio. All right, tell me more about that. Oh, that's so many cards. See all these cards, y'all? She felt hopeless, you know. She felt hopeless. Like she wasn't able to escape, but she tried several different ways to escape. Like I believe that she was kind of like coerced into some of these relationships with the promise of having more freedom because she was a slave to this industry. You know, when we look at Maryland, what we really looking at is like a sex traffic victim. That's what we looking at. And this divine feminine card came out because she was desirable, but they trained her to be like that. Like the character of her being like childlike, her being like that dumb blonde was created. Um, and they show that in Blondie because you know the person that raped her, like in the beginning when she first came to the studio and she auditioned and everything like that, At one point he was like, I created you. You know, he created the Marilyn Monroe persona. They told her, you know, how to act because they knew how to appeal to these industry men, the ones that paid big money to have like one night with her. Her life was very miserable. It really was. And I also felt like they used her as a spy. Like they use her to get information. Um, like they would set her up and she would spend like a whole week with this person, some industry dude, sometimes even women. I looked over and seen this. So a lot of times it was even better if these was like married men, because by them spending the night with Marilyn Monroe, they would have that fully documented. And they could use this as like a bait or as like blackmail or something like that. They could use that information. They would be like, and a lot of times they will have recording. Yeah. Like they would send her off to have these dates to spend a weekend with somebody. And they will have like somewhere, they have like a whole archive of like Marilyn Monroe and her like dates. Like they have audio of her interacting with these men. And some of it was really sad because some of these men treated her like they shown JFK. Now, I'm gonna get into that later, more into that, but I felt like that scene was a representation of not just JFK. Like I feel like it's a reason why they use JFK of all people to play out that scene, because I felt like they wanted you to feel it. But this is like incidents that really happened to her. Maybe not necessarily with him. I'm gonna dig deeper into that, but definitely with other men in the industry, like how they would disrespect her. Because they would get a high off of it. Like I spent $5 million to spend a week with this Hollywood actress, and I could do whatever I want with her because I paid for her. And they will feel like bigger, like they will feel good about themselves if they could get with this Hollywood actress and violate her, do what they want with her. They just have to return her back to the studio alive. But because I do feel like they had rules for these dates, but very little to actually protect her. I think the only rule was to don't mess up her face, don't mess up any body part that could be seen, and return her alive. What would go on what would happen on these dates? They will vary. They would vary. All right, so the first two cards I got crickets, silence, and then pausing, timing factor. What I'm getting with this card is that sometimes they will have her perform. Like I'm actually seeing her like in a room and somebody having her um perform scenes from like a movie or something like that. And what I'm getting from this is actually that sometimes they would set her up. Mm, mm, mm. The studio that she was in, um, they wanted to keep her feeling like insecure. So they would play like games with her. And I feel like that's why that part in the movie that um it was a man pretending to be her dad. It came to find out that it was actually one of her husbands. Well, that's what I got from it. That, you know, somebody was playing games with her, pretending to be her dad, getting her hopes all up to persuade her or to coerce her into certain situations. But see, what I'm getting from this card is that sometimes that they will hook her up or something like that, and they might even have the person set her like stand her up, and then they will come back and tell her like, you're not pretty enough, you wasn't being seductive enough, you didn't make this person happy enough, but it was done on purpose to make her feel bad about herself. And it was something about them doing this that would like, let's say that she was in a really dark, depressed mode and they really couldn't get her out of it, and they want her to perform like either in this hotel room or on the stage. They would trigger her insecurities to get her to work harder to try to prove herself to them. Mm-mm-mm. And it will work because they have been fucking with her since she was a child. So they install these triggers, they install these insecurities, and they will play on it to get her to act in a manner that they want her to. What I'm actually getting from this card is like abuse, physical abuse. The studio would try to limit her time with people that physically abuse her, because there's some people that's in the industry and they will like pay for these actresses to spend a night with and stuff. They will derange. Okay. There was times that it's certain people that they would not take the date because they couldn't trust that this person was going to follow the rules. But I feel like sometimes they would, to kind of use it like a fear tactic. Like, let's say that she had a performance and she really in a bad mood and she really uh can't do this performance. And they might even threaten her, like, if you don't do it, then we're gonna set you up on a date with such and such. I heard William. I don't know who that is. Oh, child. And then some of the dates would just be going out, making appearances with people. The studio would get paid for that. So sometimes they would send her out to like entertain people, to um just be seen with these people, just to have like a picture out in public with them. Because there's a photo that I seen on a thumbnail, and it was of Marilyn Monroe and JFK, and it was like in the window, and it's like a real intimate photo, but it feel very purposeful, like um it was staged. But I wonder if it's even real. So let me look that up real quick. Okay, so this article say the story behind the only known photo of Marilyn Monroe and JF Kennedy. Okay, so I'm thinking that that photo of like them in the window together, it must be from like a Marilyn Monroe movie or something like that, because this photo, the only known photo of them together is when she sung Happy Birthday. And I guess this is like behind stage. Okay, so yeah. So that other photo is like a fabricated photo. What I'm getting from this gossip card is that she would get a lot of hate from like women in the industry because sometimes she would get set up on dates with their husbands. I feel like there was a lot of talk about her being like a hoe or something like that. People not really understanding her situation because she had less control over the situation than, you know, you think. I also felt like that's why Marilyn didn't really have like female friends like that. Um, I don't even think that she tried to have like female friends because she know of the rumors and she know like what people thinking and what they saying about her. And I feel like sometimes she was even told these things, but they told her to tear down her self-esteem even more. I also hearing that some of the gossip was even fabricated. Like some of the gossip was created like by the studios. It wasn't even by real people. Because people in the industry, a lot of them know more than what they express. A lot of them know of Marilyn's situation. Some of them was more understanding than others. Like there was some men who actually felt protective over Marilyn, and they had they thought deeply about her situation. So it's almost like they had compassion for her. A lot of times more so than women. But there was some women, but I don't think that they took the time to get close to her because um they didn't want to be punished. Like I felt like she was kind of kept isolated from people and people knew that, you know, if they got too close to her, they might start feeling really bad. And if they was to speak up for her, they could lose their career, you know? So I felt like people just kind of kept their distance from her. This is kind of self-explanatory. Um, um, it was just a really horrible, sad situation, honestly, like how she was treated. And they still utilizing that energy to this day. Sad, broken, and feeling alone. Like that's how she felt in that situation. And she felt like she would never be able to escape. Um, I do feel like at some point in her career, she started to really study, maybe even study law, trying to find a way out of it. Like she have tried to escape. Um, I'm hearing that she even thought about going to another country. She even thought about faking her own death. She thought about running away or something like that. And I felt like she might have even attempted to run away and they found her. What are some of the ways that she tried to escape? You know what? Matter of fact, I want to ask, what are some things that Marilyn Monroe wants us to know about her? I'm already picking up on her pregnancies. I felt like that was accurate too. In that movie Blondie, they was really insinuating into the fact that a lot of times that she was pregnant and she didn't have the baby, it wasn't even really her choice. And I feel like that's true. Loyalty, romance, chivalry, and love. She really did want love. I feel like she even came across an example of love, like maybe like a couple that she witnessed. Cause I'm seeing this couple. I don't know who they is. Um, but it's like I'm seeing them through her eyes and her just feeling like that's how it's supposed to be. And she really wanting that. She really, really wanted that. I also had got this soulmate card. I'm also getting a sense that she was a bit spiritual as well. Like she could have been into like astrology and soulmates and stuff like that. Um, but she really wanted somebody to come and save her. That's what I'm getting with this. Is that because I felt like there was a few men who promised to save her and they end up using her. Um, but she really longed for that. She really wanted to escape. But she wanted something normal, I'm hearing, or what she considered to be normal. Like she wanted a husband. She wanted kids, but she wanted a quiet life. She was very introverted. Um, like I'm even getting the sense that she would have been happy living like on a farm or something, or living like secluded in the woods. Like that would have brought her comfort. Like she wanted to be somewhere that she didn't have to worry about people watching her or knowing who she is. Samaritan refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Hmm. What I'm getting from this card is that there was times, but I'm kind of feeling like this is like a fantasy. Like I don't really feel like it was real. Because I felt like she felt like it wasn't much that she could do, but she used to have like a lot of fantasies about being like a hero to like other women in the industry. Like if she was to see other women in her same predicament, like she had fantasies about them escaping together. That's what I'm getting. But I felt like they was just fantasy and a strong, almost like intention, like something that she felt like one day she was going to make real, but she never really got the opportunity. But she used to, it's a something that she wanted to do, but I don't think that she ever really acted on it. Because you see the two women. So what she's saying with this card is that she really wanted to help other women get out of this situation or even become like a advocate or something for it to prevent it. I'm also getting I'm hearing that she wished that she was stronger, that she stood up more, that she fought back. Yeah, because after that, the bully card came out, and this is also giving me the feeling that internally she really wanted to be like her own hero, and she wanted to help other women, like, but she just when she was living, she didn't feel like she had the strength. She didn't feel like she had the power to do so. She didn't feel like she could win, and she had too many fears. But internally, in her like own little fantasy world, she was that person. Like if you was to see her sitting off quiet somewhere, she's having fantasies like that, like escaping and being strong and speaking the truth. And I'm seeing somebody else. Like this is a different era, so I don't know these people. um, but what I'm getting, because I keep seeing her witnessing something and her having a feeling or a thought about it. But I'm seeing a woman with like dark straight hair. And I think that she watching this lady on TV. And I think that this person could have been like an advocate or something like that. And her watching that woman and her being like, I wish I could do that. Like that's what I want to do. I wish I had that strength to do that. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others, help you to confront your inner fears that bully you. Um, yeah, she had a whole lot of fantasies about being something different than the persona that they gave her. Um, and I think that she even had like intentions on being that. She died like 36. I think 6 and 8. Okay. I feel like near the end of her life, she was starting to gain the strength to be that fantasy. Like she started saying no more. My bad, y'all. I'm burping because I ate steak. Um, like she was being more bold. She was not playing the role of the dumb blonde anymore to people in real life. So she was starting to speak her mind more, and she was starting to like rebel. Like she was getting into like a fuck it state. She was starting to get there. Yeah, and I feel like this is why this card coming out. Learning to learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Yeah. She was starting to get to the point of a fuck it state because she was so unhappy. And she was like, you know what? But she knew that her life could be in danger because I feel like she was threatened. I feel like her life has been threatened. Um, I feel like people like in a studio, I feel like that one man who said that he made her, I feel like he even threatened to, like, if you don't obey, I could kill you or something like that. If you don't do what I say, like, I could take you out. I feel like she been threatened more than once. So she knew if she was to rebel, that her life could be in danger. But she got to the point that she stopped caring because she wasn't afraid to die anymore. That's why I'm getting this card is that she wasn't afraid to die anymore. Like she even welcomed it, but I really don't feel like she killed herself though. I just think that she was already feeling like she was going to die just because she knew that she had plans to rebel. And she was already showing that. All right, I'm gonna take a break. Um, I go off and I go watch something funny because sometimes these celebrity readings they be real like sad, depressing and shit. Cause celebrities, they lives are horrible. But I was watching something about Genuine, and they up here, they was saying in the video, like, he's a legend and people making fun of him and stuff. But it was funny though. And Genuine know that, he older now and he moving a little stiff and everything. It was funny, but I like the fact that he was able to laugh with us and everything. And he continued to be himself. Like it didn't stop him from doing his dance moves and stuff. I really love that. I love it. So I'm recording. Oh yeah. Testing. Okay. Um, so I fuck with Genuine and everything because he continued to still dance and he didn't let it get him down and he understood why it was funny. So and he's still making money, you know what I'm saying? Like Genuine could still perform and you will see a whole bunch of people in the crowd. People love to see him and watch him and stuff, Would I go to a Genuine? Nah, not that I like genuine music, but I don't feel like I'm like a big fan and stuff like that. Um, I feel like the only people that I really want to see perform is FKA Twigs. FKA Twigs. That's kind of like it right now, to be honest. That's yeah. Okay, anyways, let's continue. So where did I leave off at? Hmm. I guess we just go into a whole new subject. Let's ask about that one relationship. Now, I don't know who these people is, but the dude was a famous person's son. I'm gonna look up Marilyn Monroe poly relationship because apparently, she really did have that relationship. That would have been kind of dope, Um, and I just like the way that it was depicted because it felt like, if this was done, they kind of did it the right way. If they genuinely love each other, I think that in Blondie, it was more Hollywood. They put like a Hollywood filter on it. It probably really wasn't like that, but we're going to look into it. We're going to look into it. Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin, and Edward Robinson. They saying that this wasn't the truth though. All right, let's just look into it, okay? Um Charlie Chapman. Guess I use these over here. One day I'm gonna get me a bigger desk, something bigger. But I need more space and everything. Yo, if you want to buy me a house or give me $1 million, I'm more than open to it. I'm so open to it. As long as it don't come with no obligations. Like, I ain't trying to become a slave to nothing. But if you got it like that and you could hook a sister up, I'd be so very thankful. All right. So what was the relationship between Charlie Chaplin and Marilyn Monroe? Now I didn't do no research on this particular part. So this will be mm, mm, mm. Ah, the now card is kind of throwing me off, but then I look over at this. So damn, it might be, I don't know. It's something about this Blondie movie that even though they trying to really, people is mad about it and people is like, you know, this is fiction, this is not really happened and stuff like that. This might be like one of the most truthful films about Marilyn Monroe. Like real shit. Like, hmm. But it's denial, not facing truth, irrational reasoning. It's throwing me off. Can I get some? Oh, that dog. And you know, Marilyn, she really want this. This the only card that when everything fell out, this the only card that came out upright. So I'll take it. Oh, I get why that came out. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, girl. Like she really got a lot to say. She really want to. Like people keep saying that let Marilyn rest and everything, but she really want her story to be told. You know, that's why this card came out. When I drop all the cards, when I was saying what I was saying, I can't really remember what I was saying at the time, but it was something. It was in that energy. Then the cards fell over, and this came out. It's like her being like, "No, I want people to know. I want the truth to be known." You know. Okay, so that's why that card came out. I'm gonna put it to the side. Can you give me some clarity on this denial card? Mm. Mm. When I said now, because you know, my neighbor, her little boy, her little toddler and everything, he's so cute. But he called me by my government name every time he see me. And he's a Aries and he's just such a powerful ass spirit. Like I'm telling you, like one day I gotta get that, I gotta get uh I'm gonna do like a documentary on this little boy or something like that, cause he's something special, I'm telling you. And he really like that me and his mom are friends. Like there was a time that we stopped being friends and everything. And he was asking about me, like where I'm at, like where she at. She need a why I don't see her anymore. Like y'all need to go make up or something. So uh realization. Okay, give me some more clarity on this love affair. Oh, and he be saying, he be doing that a lot. I'm not sure where he got that from though. I don't know if he got it from me. Cause I was saying, before I even really know who he was, but I felt like he was already saying that. I don't think he got that from me. I don't know. Okay, so I'm already getting the gist for this. There was something going on here, and it was a pretty deep connection, but something got in between. I feel like with Charlie Chapman, even though he had a connection, it was something that I almost felt like he felt embarrassed about it. Um, Almost like he couldn't admit to his feelings, how deeply he felt. Um, he might have even felt like ashamed of his feelings. And I think it might have something to do with the fact of her industry roots. I want to say industry scarlet or something like that, but he knew that she had like a reputation or something. And he kind of felt like because of that and because of the rumors and stuff, I'm also getting a sense that he felt like he couldn't handle being in love with her and the way that the industry treated her, and he felt like it wasn't nothing that he could do about it. So he kind of kept himself in denial. He could have had, I felt like he was even hot and cold with her because I do feel like they had something. And I think it was pretty deep too um with this card came coming out synchronicitous. But this came out for clarity. So I felt like they had like something, like a fling or something like that. But maybe like they spent some time together, and during that time that they spent together, it was a really close relationship. Um, and I felt like there could even be love brewing, but at some point he kind of just like cut her off, like ghosted her. And I believe because he just couldn't handle her position in the industry. Like he knew how they hook her up with people. He knew, and he just could not handle it. So I felt like he ghosted her. I felt like it was somebody else. It could have been like his dad who made him feel like ashamed of it. So I felt like he disconnected from her because of that. So these cards are my On the Mind tarot card. These are the printable version that you could get on my Etsy shop. I really do love them. I have a video of how I print them out and put them on these cards and everything. I ain't gonna get that glue stick, but I had got a glue stick that's like super strong, like a craft bond glue stick. So yeah. And I might even do like another sale. I did a sale at one point, but I might do another one soon. Yeah, I think I will. All right. How did Charlie Chapman, dang, that came out quick, feel about Marilyn? I can't let anyone see me like this. I know I have to face my problems. I want to hide away. You see how these cards, I'm telling you, tarot be the truth now. This really correlates with the other deck, what it said in the other deck. Like he really repressed his feelings for her, because I felt like he felt like she was like a hoe, and he just couldn't handle that. And he have insecurities, and he don't feel strong enough. How did he feel about Marilyn? But he did have strong feelings for her. People are tired of my egotistical nature. I'm finding it hard to be faithful and tell the truth. I think that he might have drank, is what I'm getting. Maybe even did some drugs or something. Like he did some things to kind of repress his feelings for her. Like it's something that he didn't want to admit, and he didn't want to commit to her. All I need is an opportunity. I do whatever it takes to succeed, even hurting the people I care about. But he did have strong feelings. And I felt like sometimes he even thought like this, like, you know what? Because this came on top of this card. So there was times that he was like, you know what? Fuck what everybody else think. I'm going to go after what I want, and I want her. But then he cowered out. And I felt like he hurt her, like by abandoning her. All right. So how did Marilyn feel about Charlie? Mm, I know my love is magnetic and abundant. I heal the hearts of others through my empathetic nature. And what I'm getting from this card is that he's seen a side of Marilyn, like she opened up to him differently. Like time that they spent together, she um she wasn't that dumb blonde character with him. She was vulnerable with him. So and I feel like I'm feeling love. I am feeling love. How did she feel? Mm. Well, this really telling the story, ain't it? I'm ready to introduce them to my friends and family, and I have to walk away from this toxic situation. What I'm getting from this is that they was kind of like reflecting each other, as in I felt like there was times that she didn't even feel good enough. Um, but she also felt like I feel like they both felt like they couldn't make it work. Like for whatever reason, they just couldn't make it work. They didn't feel like it was possible. Why though? Why they didn't feel like they could make it work? When I calm my mind, I can hear my soul desire. Mm. I have been so obsessed with you that I forgot my worth. I forgot that I have other options. I feel like she felt like the industry for one wouldn't allow it. There was things in between them, like people in the industry that wasn't happy about this relationship and didn't feel like the relationship was beneficial. Um, they only wanted her to be with people that it was going to benefit the production company or the industry or the studio. Um, so they both kind of like pulled away from each other, even though there was a real connection. Um, and I felt like it's because a part of her didn't feel good enough. And I felt like he felt the same. I feel like more so with him, he couldn't handle knowing what she have to go through. Cause it's like falling in love with an escort. And you know that you cannot beat her pimp. And you might even be afraid of her pimp because he might have a certain power and control that he can make your life miserable or he can make you disappear or whatever. So, and he didn't feel like he had the power or the finances or the support to fight for her. So he decided to just walk away and she understood that. She understood. So she walked away too. All right. So more on that. Yeah. And they tried to forget each other. They walked away and tried to forget it. I don't want to choose. I want my cake and eat it too. I keep my double lives separate. If I ignore it long enough, maybe it will go away. And then the Chariot reverse. I'm getting in my own way. How can I remove these obstacles? What I'm not seeing. But they just kind of felt like it was just impossible to really make it work. There was just so many people against it. Powerful people. People that they both felt like they couldn't defeat together or alone. And actually, I felt like Marilyn was looking for like powerful men, but she wanted them to love her in a way that she wanted to have a connection with a powerful man, the type of connection that she had with him. Um, but no, she kept getting into a relationship with men that exploited her. And I felt like when she did get into these toxic relationships, but it was like out of her control. Um, she would think back to him and he would think back to her. How did he feel when it ended? Mm, when I feel emasculated, I can become a tyrant. Oh, that is so true. Oh, I didn't see that. This Seven of Swords. I know I've been misleaded in the past. He tried to bury it. Sex, drugs. He tried to not think about it. I think it really fucked him up though. And he felt emasculated. I feel like him not having this relationship made him feel even worse about himself because he felt like he couldn't go after what he wanted. He felt like he didn't have no control of his own life. I know I've been misleading in the past, but I'm ready to show that I can be trusted. I'm ready to tell the truth. And I really felt like it ate him up for a long time because, he tried to repress it, but anytime that he was sober, he would think about it. And the way that he think about it, he felt like worthless. He felt like a coward. He felt like emasculated from even the thought. You know what? And I'm also hearing resentment. I felt like there was times that he even resented her because he was immature in some ways, and it's like he resented her for being so desirable to him. Like, damn, why can't I just get over her? Why can't I just move on? And I felt like there was times that he was even degrading about it. Like, she ain't nobody. Like, she's like a industry hoe or something and everything. And that's what he would try to tell himself. But he couldn't deny that there was a real connection. Like, when they met, it was a real spark. Trying to pick up this card. He couldn't deny that, but he tried. He tried. And with that Three of Cups, it made me think that, even that was true, that it was like a trouble. Who's the other dude? Edward. I want to see what they said about it. Blondie on Netflix, not for the faint-hearted. It's been decades since Marilyn Monroe passed away. Da, 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 da. Blondie has taken a liberty in telling the uncomfortable truth about Marilyn Monroe. It is no secret that the icon of the 1950s. Da, 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 da. Okay, in this article, I'm going to dive into her poly relationship with two guys before she finally married her short-term husband, Joe. Okay, at her career, she seemed to have limited her interaction with these two men. When her agent advises her not to be seen dating two men at the same time, the relationship comes to an end when Marilyn undergoes an abortion. As you may have noticed, Charlie was the son of legendary, Edward, on the other hand, was also a notable actor who had the chance to work with Marilyn in one of the most iconic movies of the time, Some Like It Hot. Although her poly relationship with Charlie and Edward makes for a great story, Marilyn wasn't involved romantically with either of them. In Netflix Blondie, Marilyn Monroe was involved with these two men. I think that she was though. I think that she was romantically involved with at least Charlie. I also feeling like that there also might be archives of Marilyn and Charlie and stuff like that. It's somewhere that they have actual audio tape of like Marilyn and her dates and stuff like that. All right, what was the relationship between Edward, his name, and Marilyn? I think that they're gonna one day release those tapes. I think that's why they made this movie. Something feel weird about this card. Edward. Damn. I don't know. I almost felt like they could have been related. Edward. Like it's something about them. Like they could have been related. I don't know. Give me more. The relationship between. Hmm. Hmm. It's something about Edward and Marilyn that they could have been like related or something. Can I get more? I'm thinking that that was true too. I'm thinking that it was true that it was some type of trouble and they was intimate with each other. It wasn't like just a friend thing. Like it was a real thing. But it's something about Edward and Marilyn. They could have actual blood ties or something. Maybe that's why she got the abortion. Because maybe somebody told her, maybe she learned about that. So did they know that they was related? Did they know that they was related? Did they know it was related? Okay, so I got 3 yes cards, but the first card that came out was no. So I felt like they didn't know at first. But I feel like as things continue, and I feel like as she got pregnant, she was told. I think that the reason why they even told her was to break it up. I think that they even had to show her proof because, she didn't believe it at first. Like, felt like it was just a ploy to get her to not continue with what she was doing with them. But I think that she found out some real truth, like paperwork, documents, that she kind of learned that they was related in some type of way. And I believe that's why she got the abortion. Yeah, like with this star card, um, like this is like related to them creating celebrities, but there's like a founder, like one main bloodline that connects these people like in the industry. Mm. Okay, so how did Edward feel about Marilyn? I don't know how this card came out again when because I pulled that out with the other person. I don't want to be a victim anymore. I'm ready to set myself and my mind free. I'm afraid of rejection, failure, and the unknown. I really need to think this through. And sometimes I second guess myself and become full of doubt and fear. I can't hear my intuition. Yeah, it was similar. Um, at some point, there was a real connection between them, but it's people that got in between and kind of tear them apart. And they felt like they couldn't fight against it. They might have even threatened to somehow reveal the fact that they was related or to even create a story or a narrative around it. Um, they felt like their careers would be destroyed if they stayed in it because they was getting a lot of pushback from the industry to end it. But I do feel like there was um even though there was a connection between Marilyn and Edward, there was it's a weird vibe there. It's a weird vibe. Maybe because they realized that they was related and they had already been intimate with each other. So it left like a bad taste in their mouth. That's what I'm getting. Because I feel like almost like the cut between Edward and Marilyn was more clean cut versus the cut between her and Charlie. Like it was easier for Marilyn and Edward to let each other go than it was for Marilyn and Charlie. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, and I looked over and seen this. And I don't feel like he felt betrayed by Marilyn. He felt betrayed by like the industry. I also get a feeling when it comes to Edward that when it did separate, he was relieved because he was already feeling the pressure and he didn't really feel like he could handle it. So when the separation happened and it was like the end of it, he felt relieved. Like almost like he happy that he was able to escape that situation um as clean as he did. He was happy about that. Almost like he was happy that he survived it. That's I'm getting that. Like he was happy that he walked away with his life. That's the vibe I'm getting. What was the relationship between Charlie and Edward? What was the relationship between Charlie and Edward? What was the relationship between Charlie and Edward? Okay, so when it came to like Charlie and Edward, it was more carefree between them. Um, like I feel like there's a possibility that they could have been like bisexual, but it's kind of more like they just kind of had fun together. And they indulge in certain things together. And that was like normal in Hollywood. So when it came to their relationship, it was more carefree. But when they incorporated Marilyn, it became more heavy because it was more resistance when they incorporated her. And I kind of feel like they kind of remain kind of close. Not as close. I feel like they kind of all separated, but Charlie and Edward, I kind of feel like um they was able to maintain a connection, but they had to cut off from Marilyn clean. Like no communication, anything like that. And I'm also getting a sense that when it came between people didn't care about Charlie and Edward relationship. Like they didn't get no resistance and everything. Like they was able to live their life how they wanted to. Um, but it became more difficult and complicated when Marilyn was implemented because she had a lot of really greedy people around her that control her life. So, yeah, I don't feel like they could go back to being as carefree as they was before Marilyn afterwards. Like they might have still called each other on the phone, but I don't think that they hanged out as much. I also feel like their lives became more serious. Like before, it was just kind of fun, but then after the situation, because I felt like it was really heavy for them. It was really heavy, like a lot of threats and stuff like that. After they kind of like grew up and took life more seriously after this incident, because it was more to it. I'm gonna try to dig into that. Hold on. Let me get the cards together. Actually, I want to use these cards. Mm. I just had this memory. Like, y'all know that one girl that, I used to be cool with, and I be talking about her sometimes on here because she been doing a whole lot of trifling shit in the back. I just remember one time that we was on forgot what that shit called. Oh, bingo. And somebody came into the chat room for like a quick second, and then they got off the screen. And they really looked at like that Bobby motherfucker, the false twin motherfucker. It really looked at like him. And I was like confused, but I really felt like I was like playing games and shit like that. I remember asking him about it. And he, of course, lied and denied like he do. But I don't know why that just flashed up in my head just now. Y'all some real sick motherfuckers. I just can't even. So, anyways, yeah, I just don't understand when y'all realize that motherfuckers was really playing with your life. It's like really crazy. It's it's really crazy. I don't know. Anyways, so what got between them? Like, what are some of the things that happened that made them feel like fearful and everything? I'm talking about Marilyn and Charlie Chapman and Edward. Mm. Fighting over profit, who gets credit on projects leads to failure. Yeah, I feel like most of it was about them not having a career or their career being ended. If they did not end this, what they was doing. And even though that's why they feel like a coward. Like that's why Charlie felt emasculated because he chose um money basically over love. And, you know, he felt like he couldn't stand up for what he really wanted, what he really believed in. Watch out for someone who is envious. No one will compromise. Selfishness and preoccupation with profit and personal advancement will prevail, putting individual needs above those of the group. Yeah. And I also felt like at some point they stopped trusting each other. See, that's the issue when it comes to having like a trouble or having like a relationship with multiple people, because you have to worry about everybody's intentions and when their intentions changes. So at some point they started to question, like, is it worth it? They started to feel like, because I felt like they had conversations of like sticking together, but then eventually they kind of drifted apart because one person was not all the way in as much as they say that it was. So then the foundation got rocky and there was a lack of trust and it destroyed the relationship. And I also feel like it was threats, not just threats, but also promises. Like, it's people who came in, people in position of power, who came in and they caused division. And I feel like they caused division by promises and threats. Okay. Now let's get into the JFK. I like to shuffle these real good. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna shuffle some more. Shoot my buddy. All right. That's good. That's good. All right. First, I want to get to know what type of person was JFK? What type of person was he? All right. So, I feel like the I haven't really read why people was mad. I just been seeing like a lot of headlines of, oh, people is really upset at the JFK scene and everything like that, but I haven't read those headlines. Like I haven't clicked on the pages and read like what are people mad about specifically. But I'm kind of getting the consensus that people like JFK. They look up to him. They have respect for him. And I feel like this is the first time that JFK was ever depicted as like a villain, um, as like even selfish. But I understand the energy behind it. And right now they trying to reveal a lot of things, but there's a specific reason to it because I feel like it's gonna be revealed anyways. So they kind of like beating you to the punch because they want to manipulate the truth. So people that's in power, they have like an issue with JFK because JFK, I feel like JFK really wanted to reveal shit. I feel like JFK really wanted to tell people the truth about some shit, and they didn't like that. And it's even showing in the cards. Like the first card that came out is Mediator. Gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life. Respect for both sides of an argument. And then after that came Mystic. Mm. Revels in intimate union with the divine. So with this card, I'm getting the fact that JFK was a occultist. I feel like he was one born into it, but I felt like he took time to um look at other things. Like he was kind of like a investigator. Like he really wanted the truth. And then when he dug and he found out the truth, because as he got into certain positions, he was able to gain more and more information. And I feel like JFK may even be like a scholar that he would go out there and teach himself about like occult knowledge. And he found out a lot of shit. And what he found out, he wanted to reveal things because he felt like it would be for the betterment of humanity. But he knew that he had to be strategic about it because he knew that um if he didn't, that his life would have been taken, which it did anyways, but he was doing his best to be as strategic as possible. And he was taking certain steps to try to, he wasn't afraid of death. I don't feel like that. Like he had like a deeper understanding of death. He had a deeper understanding of it, that he wasn't afraid of it, but he wasn't ready yet because there's things that he wanted to do before he died. Um, so he really went for these powerful positions because he wanted to have like a form of protection while he revealed things. And It would have been nice to see him make it because I really feel like JFK would have really revealed some real shit. Okay. And he was trying to do it in a strategic way, but like he really was going to shine some light and fuck some shit up. Highlight your fear of self empowerment and the changes it will bring to your life. Not just his life, but everybody. And then I also got the bully card. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you to confront the inner fears that bully you. Um, he did intimidate people. He intimidated people because he didn't give a fuck. He had a moral code. And based off of his moral code, he felt like some shit just was not right. And he was a deep thinker about it. So he strategically planned to reveal things. He wanted to tell the truth to the public. And that intimidated people. I'm also I think this is his daddy I'm seeing. Because I feel like JFK wasn't as indoctrinated as like maybe like the other Kennedys. Like they didn't put him through certain programmings. He did go through a few, but there's some that they didn't feel like it was necessary. But later on, when he got older and he got more rebellious and his vision of the world was different than theirs, there was like conversations with their dad, like, you know, this is your fault because you didn't put him through certain programmings. You didn't put him through certain traumatizations. There was a talk with the dad that um he was too easy on JFK because a lot of people that go into position of power, they are groomed since very young. And JFK was groomed, but he wasn't groomed with the same uh tactics as they did with some of the other people. And the tactics that they use ingrained fear into them. And they don't feel like JFK had enough fear ingrained in him to be controlled. But I felt like for a long time, JFK dad was like, no, you can make him president. He know the rules. He will follow them. He will not sway from the rules. He will not sway from the plans. He know better. But that's not what happened. So, and I feel like the Trister card came out because JFK was trying to do things in a way that he already revealed or he already told the secret before they knew about it. Almost like they say that he's about to do a speech And he wouldn't let anybody review his speech. He would refuse to have them go over it and approve it. But when they come and ask him about it, he might like had two speeches. Like one speech was written in the format that he know that they would approve, but he would have like another speech printed of what he really wanted to say and what he would end up saying. And I think that he did that a few times before they was like, you know what? He too much of a liability, so we just gonna have to take him out. That's what I'm getting from the trickster energy. Like he will play, it wasn't like necessarily games, but he would trick them so that he would be able to tell the truth without alarming people. Because if he would have told them what he wanted to say, the truth, they would have had prevented him from doing it. So he played a lot of tricks in order to do things the way that he wanted it to be done. And I feel like that's also why I got the network card in reverse. Testing, yeah. Because at some point he started to make enemies. Um People didn't want to work with him anymore because they felt like they couldn't trust him with the agenda. Conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. Mm. So the network card came out reverse because at some point they didn't want to network with him. Because they knew that they picked up on the fact that he had a different agenda. He had his own agenda and he was adamant on doing it. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps. Development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. What I'm getting from this card is that it's something about his own handicap that enlightened him. I'm trying to dig deeper into it. Hold on. Can you give me more information on that? Someone protects your feelings instead of telling the truth. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is the fact that I believe he became handicapped because of a accident. I don't know the details, but after the accident, he felt like he couldn't trust people anymore. So that's why he became something like a vigilante or something. He um went in his own direction and had his own agenda. And it's also the fact that when he was handicapped, there was times that he didn't want to live anymore because of the pain and everything. And that's why he was going to go out with a bang. He decided that like after he became handicapped. So that kind of encouraged him to go in a different direction than what was expected. Signifies a male over 40, conceals his emotions, a very intelligent but dangerous man, cruel and self-centered. Okay, so what I'm getting, I feel like also the pain from his handicap made him kind of grumpy at times, made him kind of mean and hard to be around. Um, he did kind of have like a chip on his shoulder. That's what I'm getting. But it's because of the fact that he was handicapped. And not just that, the reason behind the reason why, because he knew that they did it, but they would not tell him the truth. So that made him lose all respect because he knew some sneaky shit was going on. Like he knew the truth, but he realized how nobody was being real with him. He couldn't trust the people that was around him. Um, he hated it. He hated it. He hated the whole government. So that's why he went on his own journey. He walked away from what they wanted him to do. And he did what he wanted to do. And he lost his life for it, but he don't regret it. Shit, I think JFK might have been like one of the only real presidents that we had. Okay, so what was the situation between JFK and Marilyn? Mm, okay, I might have to, cause I did another reading and these cards came out. So so I might go back, but I'm gonna release that separately from this video. But I'll go back and edit it out so I could post it separately or something. What was the situation between Marilyn and JFK? Mm. Mm-hmm. I want to get a few more cards. He did not trust. He didn't trust her. Okay, so um JFK had like a chip on his shoulder. Okay. He didn't trust really nobody. Shit, I don't even think that he trusted the girl that he married. I forgot her name, but I don't even think that he trusted her. Like he knew things. Like he knew how they operated. They know how they would set up your situation just to get information on you. He knew it. So I do felt like he was at least intimate with her, maybe like once or twice, but he didn't open up to her. Because when he was around her, he felt like he was being set up. And I'm hearing that it's the way that it happened, because I feel like they kept trying to push Marilyn onto him. Like people would come to him and they would offer her services to him. Like, if you wanted to spend a night with Marilyn Monroe, you could do it. And I don't even think that they wanted him to pay her anything. Like, I think that they have tapes of him and Marilyn together, but it's just like a hit it and quit it, and he ain't say shit. That's why they trying to demonize him the way that they is in the movie. Because even though they want to tell the truth, like a bit of the truth, they don't fuck with JFK. They kind of resent him. So this is a opportunity to kind of like tarnish his image. And I do think that they have archives of them together, but not too many times. It have to be like either one or two times. But they didn't get shit. Cause JFK, like, if you was to hear the tape, it would be like Marilyn, she trying to talk to him. She trying to get something out of him. And he just kind of like real short. Like, but I don't think that it was disrespectful. And I don't think that he actually raped her. I don't think that. I just think that he was distant with her and cold. I do think that he hit it, but that was it. And I feel like it's because he was the mindset of like, you know what? She fine. Like, she fine. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it. But I ain't gonna talk to her. I ain't gonna give her no information, because he knew. He knew. JFK was not stupid, yo. And he also wasn't a person that fell victim to his desires. Like, he was smart. So, he knew there was a reason why they wanted to put them in a room together so bad. Because I feel like they also pressure Marilyn to try to get close to him as well. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this card right here, is that it was set up. Like, they wanted to set up Marilyn and JFK because they just wanted to get some information. They wanted to get something that they could use to control him. And he didn't give it to him. He did not give it to him. Yeah. See, that's what I'm getting from this trigger card, because they wanted to get something and he did not give it to him. And for some reason, I feel like one day they're going to release these tapes. Like, it's going to come out of something. And when they do release it, when they play JFK part, it's going to be disappointing. Because people going to think they're going to get some tea. But all you probably going to hear is like Marilyn trying to start a conversation, and JFK is like, nonchalant, not really giving her anything. You might hear a couple of grunts, moan, or something like that. And then him being like, I'm finna head out. It was nice meeting you, Miss Monroe. And then him dipping. And you know what? I feel like that kind of made her attracted to him. So I felt like she wanted to get close to him. Mm. And then his card came out. I felt like he was too woke. They was trying to get him, and they was trying to get him through desire, but they didn't understand a person like him because it was deeper for him than that. He didn't even want to be here for too long. He had a mission, and he was trying to complete that. Sorry, y'all. That song stuck in my head. How did JFK view Marilyn? How did JFK view Marilyn? Mm, Came out in the shadow. Inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. Came out in shadow. Rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. Okay, this is how he viewed her, but to be real, okay, I guess it's kind of like my personal feelings, but I don't feel like he really seen who she truly was. But that was a good thing. I felt like he kind of seen her superficially, like he seen her like a industry hoe, and he wasn't really sympathetic or compassionate about how she got in that position. He was just really focused on protecting himself because he was on a mission. Okay. So, he could have went deeper and be like, well, I understand that um they basically abuse you and they have control over your life. And yeah, there could be something deeper about you, but I can't take the time to get to know you like that because I'm already worried about other things, you know? And, I feel like they trying to use you to set me up. So it wasn't okay. I do feel like he had like a lack of respect for her. And maybe he even felt like, regardless of how you got in this situation, you should be doing whatever you can to get out of it. And I think that she tried, but he didn't respect the way that she was trying because, even the night card came out, which came out with her earlier because she wanted somebody to save her. And it's kind of like he was like, you need to save yourself or die trying because he was on that. JFK was on that shit. Like, yo, I'm on a mission and I'm going to die trying. And you should be doing the same, but you just settling. That's how he felt. Like she just settling for the position that she in. And he ain't had no respect for that, you know? The shadow attribute says allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusion. He felt like her just being in that room with him was her agreeing to setting him up. That's how he felt. And he was like, I can't respect you. He also felt that she was superficial, like she cared more about money than freedom or respect. Hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. That's just how he's seen it. And you can't really blame him, even though I think that there's deeper aspects to it. But if you was in his shoes and his position, his perception kept him safe, you know. So, I get it. Like I get it. Okay, so let's get how did she view him? How did she view Kennedy? Mm. I really do think she had a crush on him. How did she view Kennedy? You know what? What I'm thinking is that she did want to get close to him because she felt like um he if anybody could help her out of her situation, it would be him. And I understand. I understand both their sides, honestly. So she was gonna she tried to work it, you know. She wanted to get his heart. She wanted to get it. Cause she like if she could get his heart, they could help each other. That's how she felt. Mm. But the first card that came out was servant and a light attribute. The light in serving others with a free and loving heart. She really fuck with him. She really wanted to get his heart. And I think that she liked him for real. And if she was able to get close enough to him, I think that she would have had even revealed to him, like, yo, there's a recorder under the bed, you know. I'm even seeing her like almost kind of hinting at him. Like even like that one night of them together, she was kind of like trying to hint at things. But, whatever his persona was at the time, like on the television and stuff, she really looked up to it. And she felt like that he was the type of person that really cared. That's why she really wanted to get his heart. Cause she like, yo, if I could get him to fall in love with me, he could save me. He could get me out of this situation. And she really wanted it. Cause she felt like this was her opportunity to escape. Mm, 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 mm. Transcending conventional stuffiness and predictable behavior. How did she view him after that night? Use these cards. How did she view him after them spending time together? I'm feeling disappointed just because he, oh my goodness. She felt disappointed because he didn't show no interest. And I felt like it even made her feel insecure. She felt bad. Like I could almost feel it. I think she even cried because she felt like, you know, if she could work her magic on him, that he could really help her. And it didn't go how she wanted it. It didn't go how she wanted it. He did not take the bait. He hit it and quitted it. Mm. And it really put her in her emotions. Like I'm even feeling like it made her feel ugly. She didn't feel desirable. She felt bad. She did. Fear of failure holds you back. You are dwelling on problems. Oh, she kept thinking about it. A minor run of bad luck, lost hope, and pessimistic thoughts, lack of motivation, insecurity, and self-doubt. Give away some of your money to keep money flowing into your life. Chance of mental illness in yourself or someone close to you. And I felt like this was like the beginning of like a deep depression for her. Like I felt like she was deeply depressed because I felt like she was really hopeful. The fact that he would even agree to like spending time with her or something, she felt hopeful, but it did not turn out well. What about JFK? How did he feel after that night? Mm. How did he feel? Dang, he seemed like he was angry. Why? Why he was angry? He's just an angry ass person. He really had a chip on his shoulder, but it was understandable. How he felt after that night with Marilyn? Why he was angry? He was disappointed. Damn. He was like disappointed. Like, but why? Why he was disappointed? It like really don't even have nothing to do with her. Like, honestly, JFK kind of had the energy of he felt like everybody was out to get him. He didn't trust nobody. He felt alone. Um, and like it wasn't like just her, it was just everything. He had a chip on his shoulder. Like he was kind of a grumpy and angry person. So the first card that came out was Judgment Reverse. anger, revenge. Someone is trying to get even with you, loss of so it's not even about her. It's like the fact that he was even being set up, like he just knew. And ooh, I think that he even caught on to her hints, but he perceived it differently, almost like he could have felt like she was trying to trick him. He did not trust her. Are trying to get even. Okay, loss of material possession and salary and lawsuit. And he just wasn't in a good mental state. It was like he was thinking about them trying to kill him because he knew them trying to set him up because he knew. So he was just stressed out, you know? And it wasn't nothing that she could do. Like, and she took it really personally. They both wasn't really viewing each other correctly, but she really wanted it because she really wanted out of her situation. And it's like he treated her like she didn't even matter. Signifies a male on a 30, cool, unemotional nature. I'm telling you, he was in that motherfucking room like, so what? What you gonna do? You gonna suck my dick? Like what you gonna do now? Cause we gonna do it, just go ahead and do it. And she up there like, how was your day? Like, what is your favorite drink? And he just like, no, 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 no. I ain't trying to talk to you. Like, is you gonna do what you gonna do or what? It was like that, yo. Mm. It was like that. Um, cool, unemotional nature, a sensuous person who stresses the physical side of life. Worldly and jaded. Life holds no surprises for this person. Attractive and well dressed, he might deceive you and is not as he appears. Do not trust this man with your heart, he will break it. He wasn't giving her anything, and she felt worthless, you know, just the way that he was acting. Attractive, prone to jealousy and mood swings, unfaithful in love, not capable of commitment to one person. And he wasn't a lover. Like I feel like before she got into the room with him, based off what she's seen on television, she see him in one perspective. She felt like this is the type of man that had a big heart. He really wanted to help people. He really cared about humanity. She felt like that. And then to meet him and he really cold and distant and just really detached and angry and moody. It was like disappointment for both of them. With this card, I'm feeling like um it just felt like a waste of time. It felt like a waste of time. Avoid a new venture at this time. It is very tempting, but doomed to failure because of money, You are not being practical. Attempting to do everything yourself is what stands in your way. He was in a mood, child. He was in a mood. He was just like, you gonna suck my dick? Like, cause I don't got all day, man. Like, I'm stressed the fuck out. Yo, that's why they played that part. Cause if you hear the tape, this is what you like gonna hear. Right? But I don't feel like he raped her. I don't feel like that. Um, I felt like they was intimate, and I felt like when they was intimate, it was quick. It was not romantic at all. Um, yeah. All right. So I'm gonna end it here. Hope y'all enjoy the reading. Stay blessed.